Hello everyone, it is me, Natasha Randolph, or you may know me as Psychic Medium Natasha, and today I wanted to dedicate today's video to talk about signs from spirit. How do we receive signs from spirit and how can we recognize it for ourselves? This is something I always see come up again and again, and I wanted to dedicate a specific video for this. I also did dedicate a blog post about this as well on my personal website, so I will link that down below in the description box. I highly recommend checking it out because I do go into depth about specific messages or signs from spirit that you can add to your own journal or grimoire or book of shadows for your own safekeep. But I do recommend you having your own journal to keep your own catalog or library of experiences and signs that resonate with you. That being said, let's move right on into this. If you're interested in learning more about this, please keep watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss any of my content. But let's move right into how do we receive signs from spirit and how can we recognize this? So regardless of how intuitive or sensitive you believe yourself to be, spirit is always trying to connect with us and communicate with us. It's in all actuality, to be real with you guys, spirit's always communicating, and it's really up to us as humans, the living, to be present, to be grounded, to be able to receive them. A lot of us happen to be running on autopilot from our day-to-day lives. We're very distracted, we're very goal-oriented, and we're just simply not physically all here to be able to receive. And then by the time you go to sleep, you may be physically at rest and maybe spirit is trying to connect with you that way. But I've noticed if you're not clearing your energy and you're just allowing things to build up over time with your energy field, they're not physically going to be able to penetrate your physical energy, regardless of how bad they want to connect with you. So, you do want to do your best to be physically present, to be able to receive. You want to try to be receptive. And you also want to try to clear your energy so that you don't have any resistance to picking up or sensing them as well. But generally speaking, like I said, spirit's always trying to connect, and it's up to us to be present and focused to be able to receive. Now, how we receive those messages does vary person to person. Typically, spirit will try to connect with us in a way that we are most receptive. So that means they're going to try to connect with us with our intuitive senses that are the most open, so that they could try to get like a way in to connect. And that varies person to person. Everybody has intuitive senses, or known as the clairsenses, but some may be naturally more open or developed for you than others, and there's nothing wrong with that. You're absolutely able to train or develop your intuitive senses if you do want to become more well-rounded. That's absolutely possible. It's what I did. But typically, spirit is going to try to connect with you in the way that you're most receptive. So we're going to go into specifics with our intuitive senses. And then if you want to learn about the specific signs that spirit can give you and stuff like that, then I recommend checking the blog post, because there I talk about angel numbers and feather colors and various different things that you may be looking into. So that being said, let's go into the clairsenses and how you may be able to receive them. So clairvoyance. Clairvoyance is the intuitive ability of clear intuitive sight. So you're able to see visuals or process intuitive downloads and information through your third eye, your mind's eye, or by receiving actual visions or downloads and stuff like that. So if you are receiving from that specific sense, it's going to be like you getting actual visions. You could just be thinking about something, and then you get a random scenario pop up in your mind. You're thinking, what's that about? It could be a download from your spirit guide. You could be daydreaming. You could receive visions in your dreams. Like, you could be lucid. How you receive and perceive information through clairvoyance is going to be visually and through your third eye. So this can happen when you're awake, daydreaming, or asleep. There's really no time really about that. It's just more so of how you being able to perceive and receive that. So clairvoyance, you're going to receive your information from spirit through visuals and downloads and from your dream or dream state. Okay, clairaudience. Clairaudience is the intuitive ability of clear intuitive hearing, physically being able to hear from the spirit realm or possibly even being able to communicate with them. This can literally be from you like hearing voices, like someone calling out your name. This could just be you literally waking up with like hearing songs or lyrics or music as a download that has a relevant message into it. Sometimes I get it that way. Sometimes me being so intuitive as an intuitive empath, if I'm standing next to someone or I'm in someone's energy, sometimes I can also hear their thoughts that they're actively thinking, or I could hear the suppressed thoughts from like their inner child or shadow self or all this other stuff. So it just varies on how developed your senses to go, to how deep you can go. But those are some ways that you may be able to receive it from hearing. Claircognizance. So this is the ability of clear intuitive knowing. It's having a very deep understanding of something. And this can be like you receiving new ideas that pop up out of nowhere. Or you just have like someone could be talking about something, they have a question like, do you think so and so really did this? And then you just have a sudden knowing of, yeah, they did. Or that's like a sense of how information or a download from spirit can come to you in that way. You just have a deep understanding, like the feeling of, I know it in my bones. Like it's that feeling. Okay. Clairsentience. So this is the clear intuitive feeling. This is when you're receiving information from body sensations. Usually I see a lot of healers are very naturally attuned to this ability. If you're getting signs or messages or downloads from spirit from clear intuitive feeling, it's more so like, oh, I'm feeling aches and pains because maybe my ancestor was experiencing this before they died and that's how I know it's them. Or maybe you could it's basically you are feeling physical sensations or experiences from the body as if you were that other person or you were in that specific scenario or experience, even though you are not physically them and they are not physically near you or whatever. That's like how you would receive information in that way. I will say though, if you have clear intuitive feeling and it's very, very strong for you and that's how spirit connects with you a lot, I highly recommend you do your releasing and clearing and grounding rituals, because it could definitely take a toll to feel pains and aches and to be processing that much information through the body. So just keep that in mind. Okay. Clairsalient. So this is clear intuitive smell. This is literally you receiving information like, oh, I can smell perfume or cologne even though no one's around me. I'm smelling food, or I smell like the aroma of this person's house even though they passed away and I'm not even physically in that state. Those are examples of how spirit can send you messages from smells. You're just literally smelling an odor or a fragrance or a scent that is not physically near you. I will keep in mind though, a good rule of thumb if you are experiencing smells from spirit is that if the more foul it is, like the more sour and nasty and gross it is, and even sulfur like, that's usually a red flag for an evil spirit, something demonic or malicious. So just keep that in mind if you are engaging with your sense of smell a lot more. Typically the foul ones are associated with the dark, lower vibrational entities. Okay. Clairgustance. So this is clear intuitive taste. This is literally where you are experiencing taste and even textures in the mouth when you are receiving information from a spirit. So this could literally be like, oh, I'm tasting a particular food, but I'm not actually eating it. It could just be a sign that, oh yeah, this was my favorite food, and that's how you know it's me. Or you could just be experiencing like a time loop, like you're feeling like a remnant or a download and you're just experiencing what they were doing in that moment, like something residually when you're in a space. Sometimes that happens to some people, but it's typically where you're experiencing things from the mouth and you're perceiving information that way from, again, either a taste or a texture in the mouth, as if you're experiencing it as they were. Okay. Clear empathy. Clear intuitive emotion. This one's a hard one, but it's literally like my empaths, where you're experiencing emotion and downloads in that way to receive information. So you could be experiencing someone else's emotions as if it's your own. And that's where you really have to pay attention, because you don't want to, confuse the two. Make sure you're noticing how you feel beforehand. But typically you're experiencing emotion as information, or to get more depth of clarity about person or situation. So you could be experiencing like let's say a particular spirit comes near you and they were suicidal, and you just feel a lot of anxiety when you like when they are walking past you, but you're not even aware that they are, and you just feel like this overwhelming. And it's important to understand that, oh, I feel I'm feeling this way. So just keep in mind that if you're experiencing clear intuitive emotion, you want to make sure of what is you and what is not, but you're typically experiencing emotions as if you're the other person or the other experience separate from yourself. Just make sure you're not confusing the two. That is you. Don't associate with you if it's not, because that's something I see a lot of people when they're developing their empathetic gifts, that they are confusing what is them and what is not. So just keep that in mind. Clairtangency. Clear intuitive touch. This is the intuitive ability where you can physically hold an object or handle an object, and you're able to receive downloads from spirit that way. So that's like me holding a client's jewelry, and I'm able to get intuitive downloads that way. Whether that's like, a knowing, or I'm receiving a visual, you're literally just holding an object and you're receiving some type of information that way. So this is something you definitely can develop, or keep training to do, but it's that simple ability of being able to receive by connecting with an object. So whether you're touching, whether you're physically touching a piece of furniture or a wall in someone's house and you're receiving it that way, or you're just getting ideas pop up in your mind, it's literally that. So that could be tricky, depending on what the situation is, but that's typically what the ability is, where you're physically touching, holding something, and you're receiving in that way. And I think it's important to note that while you're developing these intuitive senses, if you're not very secure in that and you're trying to figure out, well, what's me and what's not, you need to understand, how were you feeling before you attempted to connect with this sense, or you were trying to connect with spirit, But yes, if you go on my blog post, I go specific about angel number meanings, stuff like that. But in this video, I want to talk about how do you receive information from spirits. So just keep in mind that spirit can connect with you in various ways beyond just the senses. Sometimes spirit will try to get your attention on the outside, like your environment, and that could be like frequencies, like you can see repeating numbers, synchronicities. Sometimes you can experience delays, like your phone's glitching, or your books are falling, as a way of them trying to help redirect you on course. Spirit's always trying to connect with you, So just keep in mind that if something is out of the ordinary from your day-to-day routine, it might be like, hey, Spirit's trying to connect with you, be like, hey, I want you to be aware of this, or I want to redirect you into this. So that's like a general rule of thumb, but they can connect with you from repeating numbers, which will be angel numbers. They could drop feathers, and sometimes the specific color of the feather could have a significance with that. If you do experience like technological glitches and stuff like that, a general rule of thumb is you can feel spirit. That's usually spirit either like passing by, like walking by, and that creates like an electrical interference. There's so many ways that spirit tries to connect, but the big thing is the more receptive you are, the easier it is for them just to give it to you. But the more distracted that you are and you're not really here, they're going to try to get more loud about their message until you just can't deny it, basically. So if you're experiencing delays and all that stuff, it could very well be spirit saying, hey, the way you're going about this is wrong, and I need you to wake up, or to go about it differently, or to change your perspective. So spirit can be speaking through other people, like where you're just talking with your friend and they're saying something that really resonates with you, and you're like, wow, I feel like I really needed that today. And it's because they were probably more open than you were, and therefore they were just speaking the message for you. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you could just, see something in your day like a rainbow, and that could be a sign of, like peace is coming or joy. You should envelop your joy. Like there's various things. Sometimes spirit can even send you and specific animals that have a message or significance with that as well. So if you want to go into the specific messages, like what the numbers mean and the different animals mean and the different feathers and all that stuff, please check out my blog post. And don't forget to keep those into your own notes. If you have any questions that is about signs from spirit or how you can receive from spirit, please leave in the comment section below and I'll be happy to get to them for you. Thank you guys for watching, and blessed be.